Good evening.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good, thanks. Sorry, instead of switching my camera on, I switched my mic off. So it's been a while. How have you guys been? It was your birthday last week, right?
Yes, it was, and I've been very well, thank you.
That's good.
Did you
Razia,
guys?
how are you? Yes,
Oh,
sorry.
sorry. Did you guys have a class last week?
No, so I ended up canceling last minute because it we had such a busy day, and my Monday class, my evening class, the students didn't attend. And then when it came to Tuesday, I'm thinking, you know what? Like I thought about it late. I'm like, this is a public holiday and I'm expecting students to come to class. Um, so I canceled. And Razi, I'm very sorry if I changed plans and canceled too late. But yeah, we didn't have class last week, but I did a pre-recording, and the slides were available. And when I did this pre-recording, it was so crazy because I did the whole recording, and then when I played it back, I don't know if I was on mute or what happened, but the whole thing was silent. And then I think I accidentally sent that one to Cole Campus, so you may see that, Obanolo. And then Razi just messaged me, and I sent her the correct one because I had to then re-record because it was silent.
Okay. I haven't checked it out, but I will because we got SMSs that we wouldn't have class Mondays and Tuesdays. So I think that's why people didn't attend them.
You see, I didn't know that.
Yes.
So Monday, I got ready, I was ready for class. They told us I must do pre-recordings for the contact, for the full-time students. And then I'm like, okay, part-time, because they're online, then, it's fine, continue online. But no one attended. I'm thinking maybe they are also off today. So that's why by Tuesday, I'm like, I'm just canceling. But Razia, how are you? You quiet there?
Hello. No, I was waiting for you to finish. I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Good. And
That's
I'm
good.
sorry if I canceled late
No
or
problem.
you, like, I didn't know what the situation was. Like
Mm,
Obanolo saying, like, you guys were SMS'd as well.
mm, no problem. I was ready though, but I was a bit relieved
Oh,
when I saw the when I saw the email.
shame. And I
But
know it's like closer to the assignment. Like last night, I had an online class and no one attended as well. So I think, like, I don't know, you guys are pretty good. But getting closer to the submission week, there's less people attending physically and online. I think it's just
true.
getting hectic for people, but that's fine. Obanona, I don't think I have your email address. Could you please write it in the chat for me or drop me an email? Just because when I sent Razia and Tumelo uh, information, I I don't think I had your email address. So please, can you thank you so much? So I can also just keep you part of that group if I'm communicating. But yeah, how are assignments, guys? How is that going?
I'm all good, my side. I'm just taking it slow, but making sure that by the time the submission opens, I'm ready to submit. So that's how I plan it. But all good so far.
So to give you perspective, you have this week and next week,
Yes,
and then
two
it's
weeks.
submission week. Yeah. So time is, I mean, it is 2 weeks, but time is like flying by now that we're getting closer. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. Know that I'm here if you have any questions. Obonola, how is it going on your side?
On my side, I'm actually surprised that I managed to do so much work because usually I'm a last minute person. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, usually I've decided to carry some work home, so I get to work. So I get to work like 1 hour 30 minutes early. I do some assignments. Luckily, Tuesdays I have 2 hours from work hours to work on my assignments. So that has really been a privilege. So it helped me a lot. Usually I panic last week.
Shame. Shame. No, but that's good. And I think when you're at work and you have free time, you're quite productive because you're already in this mindset of like working and getting things done. So that's awesome that you do have a slot on a Tuesday. Okay, so last week's slides referred to finding a leader, okay, that inspires you. And this lesson is supposed to start off with that activity, understanding who this leader is and doing a elevator pitch. So what I'm going to do to do to do that activity is it's 7 minutes past 6 now. Razia may have found someone, but Obanolo may have not if she didn't watch the recording. But I want you guys to spend the next 20 minutes, let's say, finding a leader that inspires you and finding an article online or wherever. Well, online would be the easiest thing right now, telling us something about this leader. Okay. Um, and then once you have this leader, I want you guys to prepare a 30-second elevator pitch. All right. So, what we'll do for now actually is find the leader and take the next 20 minutes to find that leader and come back and tell me about it. And we will prepare this elevator pitch for next week. All right. Just so that we're not taking too much of the lesson because I do see we have like long slides as well. So I don't want to keep you for the whole night. So I'm going to give you till 6:30 to find a leader and an article. And when you come back, you're going to share, uh, tell us about this leader. Why do they inspire you? What does this article say and mean to you? um, yeah, and let us learn from this a little bit about you, as well as you learning about yourself through understanding who you've chosen. Okay, questions?
No.
Awesome. So go find a leader, find an article, or find something that tells us about them, and we meet back at 6:30. You can stay online. You can just mute yourself. I'll be here as well. Um, so yeah, 6:30. See you at 6:30.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Great. So, who would like to go first?
Um, okay, so we the assignment was to find a person, a leader you look up to, find an article, and now I'm gonna tell you why I chose her, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I chose Nompumelelo Muku. Muku.
Okay.
Um, she is a beast of a woman. She's an MD at Southern Africa Dimension Data. I think I chose her because I finally got to meet her today at
Oh,
work.
wow.
So Dimension Data is an international company worldwide, and she is the MD. The reason I chose Nompumelelo is because, oh my God, she's an amazing woman. And I'm just going to speak about the changes she has done at work. She just started as a financial officer, and now she's an MD, literally 9 years later. For me, that's a very short time to become an
Mm,
MD. So it does show her character, the characteristics she holds, and the kind of person she is. So she recently just launched a lactation rooms at work. She's a brand new mom. She was struggling to have kids. She's in her 40s and she finally had her first child last year. So having to have seen how much of a struggle it is to be away from your child, or sometimes wanting to have your child at work, and also obviously making the environment healthy for other employees. She launched lactation rooms to be able to feed her kids, her kid, and other moms as well. And then we have something developed, also something we call Saturday School. Saturday School, from her own pocket, she gets matrics students, gives them professional educators to teach them different subjects. And not only that, she continues to fund their whole varsity life.
wow.
So she is a very selfless woman, to be honest. She is also tutoring men in prison who wants to be CAs. She's so far tutored about 15 in her whole career.
Wow.
So she is doing like really well. Yeah, I think that's it.
Mm.
I'm not going to stop if I continue.
Nice. Okay. So, and you got to meet her today
Oh,
for
I
the
got to
first
meet her
time.
today for the first time.
Nice.
Was I not shaking? Yo.
So, before today, was she uh, a leader that you would look up to, or because meeting her today, she made such an impact
Okay,
on
so
you?
I didn't want to bring somebody who I've been long looking up to, because I've been doing my research since I started working for the company. I've been doing my research about her. So since I've realized since March, I've been doing some research about her. I figured let me just do this one. But since March, I've realized how much of a beast she is. So that's why I chose. I just didn't want to pick any typical
Yeah.
leader, so I chose somebody different.
Nice. And do you work for Dimension Data?
I work for Dimension Data, yes.
Okay. Nice. Well, that's very interesting and very nice to hear. And so the next task for next week, and I want you to think about this now because you've actually met her. Because the scenario we're supposed to do here is you get 30 seconds in an elevator to pitch yourself to work for her. But you work within the company already and you've already met her. So I want you to think about how would you pitch yourself to her to either work closer to her, um, or just pitch yourself so she understands the value you hold within the company. All right. So that's for next week. But consider that. But also consider what you say in 30 seconds. If you met someone else that you would like to work for their company as well, and if you had your 30 seconds like mapped out in your head already, maybe you keep it general, because the point of it is to understand your abilities, your strengths, what you're capable of, what you can bring to a company, what is your uniqueness. Okay, so think about that. um, but Razia, let's hear about your leader.
You guys are gonna think I'm superficial, but I really, really like this woman, and I think a lot of the world does. So I chose Rihanna, and maybe I misunderstood you because I made an elevator pitch of, Rihanna. I don't know. I
It's okay,
misunderstood.
it's okay. No,
Okay,
go
okay,
for it. Let's
okay.
hear what you did.
So I said that Rihanna is more than just a talented musician. She's a successful business mogul who has made huge impacts on the industries of music, fashion, beauty, and art. Her story is one of perseverance, starting from humble beginnings in Barbados to becoming a global household name. With over 60 million albums sold, she is the top selling digital artist of all time. Her success does not stop there. She also launched Fenty Beauty and Skin, a makeup and skincare company that promotes inclusivity and diversity, and Savage X Fenty, a lingerie line which offers a wide size range. She has become a role model for many and continues to inspire men and women in all walks of life. And for me, her authenticity is what stands out for me, and it's also what's gained her a massive following, making her a true icon.
Nice. So tell us how she makes you feel. Like, why her?
Oh, she's just so she's herself, and she dresses how she wants to. She doesn't follow the trends, she sets the trends. Also, I do use her products, both beauty and skin, and my skin is the best it's ever been. So I do believe that she creates quality
Nice.
products. And yeah, she's just an all-round wonderful entertainer. And I think it's more her authenticity than anything that draws me to her and makes me feel like she's a great leader.
Mm. And she is pregnant, right?
With her second kid.
So, yeah, my husband was showing me I don't know what it was, it an awards or the opening of something,
Oh,
where she's
so she performed
pregnant.
at the NFL, the
Yes.
Super Bowl.
Yes, you're showing me her performance, and like she was pregnant, and I'm like, this lady must be so tired. But yeah, no, I love her too. And for her to do that, that must have taken a lot of energy and yeah, and high up like that.
Can you imagine? And pregnancy, I just watch from afar. Pregnancy takes
Yeah.
such a toll on women's body, but
Oh,
like it just looks so easy. But
no, it's not. Well, some have like the best and they have all this energy and they like glow. I mean, I looked fine, but I felt humongous and tired.
I can imagine.
But yeah, she is amazing. I think I didn't know she did makeup, and the fact that you use her products also shows that you do. It's not something you've just thought about. You have uh, been inspired about what she's stood for. So, in your perspective, right? You've already said you looked at an elevator pitch. So keep it with you. We'll talk about it next week. But I think in your elevator pitch, like I told Obonono, keep it general so you could use it on anyone. But specifically to the people that like you've chosen Rihanna now, if you actually met her and besides being a big fan of her, what would you tell her about what you want to do in your career and how you could actually benefit her? If you had that opportunity to work with her, how would you sell yourself to her? What would you say that was so unique that you would say, this girl is authentic? I like what she stands for. It's similar to what I believe in. So think of it in that sense.
Okay.
All right. Awesome. So very, very interesting. Thank you for sharing the two of you. I'm going to share my screen with you now. Um, it's it's very interesting to hear you guys share with me these things. I love it. All right. So you can see my screen, right? Let me move this off my main screen so that I'm not looking away from you guys all the time. Okay, so we all busy with our assignments, right? And if you have any questions, please feel free to email them to me. Um, Whatever it may be, I am here to assist you, okay? Elevator pitch for next week. So, lesson 11's objectives are understand the importance of adequate planning and time management, understand the importance of being able to apply learned theory to different case examples, become enlightened about their own application of learned theory to different case examples, and become aware of their peers' thoughts and behavior towards professional goals and creating and achieving work life balance. So, last week's session, sorry, I just want to in last week's session, um, we looked at um, making lists, planning yourself, understanding what you could do right now, plan for, delegate, and eliminate. Okay, and that was very handy to understand. And as you know, in every lesson, whatever content we do as well, we do it and we try to relate it to an example, okay? Because that is the purpose as well. We're not just reading content from this textbook, we want to be able to apply it to real life. So, managing your priorities. Once you have organized your priorities, creating a list of importance and ranking them accordingly, we need to look at when these need to be achieved and start with a plan on how to achieve them. So I would like to task you over the next week. I'm just going to make a note of it in my book. Is I want you to start thinking about your priorities, goals, right? We've been talking about goals and priorities, and I want you to start listing them. I want you to start ranking them as well. What is something that's most important to be done? Um, so rank your priorities. Okay, I want you to consider what are your priorities currently, um, and how you're going to achieve them. All right, is it completing these modules? Um, is it I don't know what your priorities could be in life. Okay, it can be personal, professional. It can be family related. It can be studying. It can be anything. In previous lessons, we looked at the SMART goal model. I want you to consider the SMART goal model and your priorities, okay? So it's allowing you to actually go back a few slides and consider these things. Tim Elmore suggests starting with asking yourself these three questions, okay? So now we're moving on to questions that I would like you to reflect on, okay? And as I speak to you today, if you want to start making notes, just for yourself, okay? Not an assignment, not homework, but for yourself, so you can reflect, you can find answers, you can find a path for yourself. What does the role require me to do? This action is required from you within your job description. If it does not fall within your job description, it is best to delegate this task or reject this task if it is not necessary. So last week we spoke about delegating and not doing tasks. And I remember when I did my contact sessions, I have students. So they really like, I'm sorry, I mean, I have like younger students, where they come to campus and that is like they don't work. And to delegate is very difficult because they have to do what they need to do. But when you have a role to do in a workplace and you have a job description and both of you do understand working, how do you guys feel about delegating tasks or rejecting tasks? What situations have you been in where you could, or are you in positions where you can delegate? And have you ever rejected any work? Can I hear some thoughts?
Personally, no, none of the above. I think I was so young and always just so intimidated to like pass on something that is not necessarily in my job scope, but that I can do and I have the capability to do. And because, it's there, I might as well do it. Also, when you're young, you just want to impress the bosses. So, no, I didn't do any of that.
Openona, have you?
I think I have rejected a task before. So
Okay.
before being in the corporate side, I used to act. So I was on Mubango this time, and the role required me. By the way, I'm a pastor's kid. The role required me to be all touchy touchy with my skin out, and because I knew that would separate me from my father, I rejected the task. I couldn't do it.
Okay. So interesting rejection. Um, okay, interesting. Nice. So also with regards to what Razia said, is that you're also very eager. Like you were brave enough, and I think the position you're in was, valid. You could reject. In a work environment, when you reject, sometimes they see it as if you don't, you're not good enough for, not good enough, but why, like you're young, why aren't you just doing everything that's handed to you? So I'm not saying don't reject, but also be careful of when you reject. But in your case, Obanolo, you fully had that choice. um,
But oh sorry,
no, go for it.
I feel like if it was a bigger role on a bigger platform, knowing that what way that role would get me,
Yes,
I
yes.
wouldn't have rejected. But I felt like that show, it was not worth it. So I was,
Yeah,
yeah. So if it was a bigger platform, definitely I would have done it.
yeah. Sometimes you get, you just get a feeling that this isn't your path um, to take. And I think specifically in this context, like with Razia's context, saying yes to everything is different. Like please go buy me coffee or whatever. Like it's different. Or please, can you do this admin work or whatever? Like we do what our bosses say. But yeah, I think you do get a feel when you need to reject when people are stepping the line in general. So, what will produce the greatest results, like you have considered? This question is concerned with the process, completing tasks we are good at, motivation, and a sense of fulfillment. Tasks that are not easy and are challenging are also to be completed. All right. So, when these aspects are allowing you to just think about things, okay? In Obanolo's case here, she said, like, what results would it get her? And not really where she wants to be. Um, and then Razia's like working example, when you're given a task, it may not be easy for you to do whatever it is. um, but it needs to be completed, and you try your best to do it, right? And you also want to put your best foot forward, like you said. You want to make a good impression because it could get you further into your working career. I'm glad the two of you have two totally different examples for me because it's actually giving you a bit broader to think about. What is most fulfilling when I do it? This question pushes us to do some reflection and introspection of ourselves. The response to this question can impact how we approach tasks that we feel fulfill us and tasks that don't. We need to be realistic when thinking about this and understand that a negative or positive approach perception towards task is within our control, right? Always believe that. Managing your professional goals. As you enter into the workplace as a young professional, it is important to start drawing on your learned organizational skills to manage your personal and organizational goals. So don't forget, right? We get caught up in we got a job, it's great, we enjoying it, and we forget that we had a goal, that one day we were aspiring to be a different type of leader, we were aspiring to be a different individual. Okay, things happen, life happens, and we continue. But remember when you're entering, you're unique. Remember that feeling of uniqueness. Remember the feeling you have now, that you are bringing something great to the world. We sometimes lose that in our careers. Steps to manage your professional goals. Establish a goal or a set of goals. Define your current situation. Identify possible breaks and openings to your goals. Identify possible obstructions to your goals. Devise a plan to reach your goals and monitor your progress. So, I hope that in the past few lessons, when we spoke about goals, you have been writing them down. So, when you're making your priority list, please refer to goals and try to identify how you're going to meet them. The more you identify these things, the more you take these steps that we're looking at, the better the chance of your goal being reached. Okay, like I said, life happens, and we change our minds. The bigger picture, that is career pathing. Career pathing is the term used to describe the process employees use to plot their course for career development. So, also, if you know where you want to be, and when you enter a company, you're clear with them or you show them this interest, they know how they can develop you into that. You need to be aware of your knowledge, your personality, your skills, your motivation and drive, and the end goal. So, career pathing tips, make an effort to network. The more you talk about it to people, the better. Creating and maintaining relationships with relevant people within your past and present workplaces. Work with diverse teams and try volunteer. LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and even Instagram can be used for networking. Do good and be good at what you do. Being nice is not enough in a workplace. Be noticed, stay relevant, and associate yourself with your impressive work. Participate in work socials, meetings, volunteer work, and constructive discussions. Stay relevant with your work and the area in which you work, such as procedures and trends. Upskill yourself by attending workshops, conferences, classes, and learn new technologies. Get a mentor. Approach someone you admire within your industry or company to become a mentor to you. They can provide constructive criticism and give you guidelines on how to navigate projects and people. Branch out to other areas of your industry and make yourself marketable. Questions or comments?
No.
Job
No.
seek. Okay. Job seekers. Your job is to find a job. Make use of online sites that advertise or boost employment. Employment agencies, even social network can help you find a job. Ensure you have a well laid out CV that is up to date. Make an effort to work on your interview skills. It is very difficult to find jobs, but for some, it is very easy and things work out. People come to them. But job finding can be difficult. So you need to make sure that you're out there. Entrepreneurial spirit. This includes owning your own business or freelancing. Make use of planning and analytical skills. Be realistic and have a business plan. Achieving your work life balance. Let's just go one more back. How, so Obanola, you work somewhere already, right? Razia, how is this job shadowing thing that we're looking at? How is that fine? How is that going, finding a place?
It's a bit overwhelming, but I know some people from the industry that I do want to work in. It's just now me reaching out and, um, starting the conversation and seeing if there are any opportunities there.
Perfect. So, on that note, Karika has said that if you'd like a letter that states you need to do job shadow, you have to request it from her, or I don't know who you guys email in the office, in Boston office, for a personalized letter. All right. Um, and then, yeah, so that would be the starting point. Then other things like timesheets and stuff, she sent me an example of someone's submission. So I will have a look at what they have done, but possibly you would be creating your own timesheet, or I will discuss the layout of how that would happen as we get closer to the June holidays, which is when they advise everyone to do it. Okay, Obunola, you're going to stay within your company and work there, if I'm right.
Yes, for now, yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we still got a few months if there's any other opportunity that comes about for you. All right, achieving a work-life balance. It is becoming more and more common for individuals to become completely consumed by their work life as they start to neglect their social and personal life. So this is always complicated because when you're so passionate about work, it becomes it becomes your whole life. Obanolo, something that you mentioned with your um, leader that inspires you is that she is 40 and she's only had a child now. Like she couldn't have a child before. Um, but also, you said it took her 9 years to get where she is. For me, in my mind, I don't know her, but it felt like she was really dedicated to her job to get to that point in 9 years. And
Correct.
now, yeah, and now she's focusing on family life.
Okay, wait. Are you saying she dedicated her life for work and the baby thing was on pause?
I don't know if the bathing was on pause, but maybe that's why she got to where she is in 9 years so quickly, because work became life.
Oh no, actually, she has a video where she specifies that it's not because she focused on work. It's because it couldn't happen. So
Wow.
she had the doctors and everything to get it to be done. So she wanted to have a family. She was married, but she couldn't.
Mm, no shame. No, I and that's life, hey, and that's real. Um, uh, when you told me the story, I was like, because you mentioned 9 years, I was like, okay, like I mean, people are driven. People are like, right, I'm getting to the top first, and then thinking about family. It's a lot easier personally if I had to say myself, like I started working and then I had kids and now I have to get back into working. It's like you're starting again. You're not climbing the ladder continuously. So it's difficult when you have kids, like she's also mentioned. It's hard now to balance the two. You want to be with your kid, but you want to still have you at work. So, yes, balancing life, balancing your studies currently, and balancing your work life, your social life. We need to understand how much of each we want. We're not saying work is bad, we're not saying social is bad, but to have the right balance. I'm sure you guys, and I think comes with maturity to understand the balance that you should have. Right. The root of the problem. Work pressure, work life imbalance. Factors that contribute to this pressure fall into one of the following: organization related, self related, technology related. So on page 82, let me just pull my textbook out. There is a diagram. And it talks about the root of the problem: organization related, work overload, poor support, and culture; technology related, longer hours; self related, internal drive. So, do you see how these things, right? If you look at it, it's three different wheels and how they actually influence each other. So, when you become passionate about your job, you're driven to do more and more. Technology related, longer hours. So what you're doing, the it just requires you to be there more, right? Organizational related. So work overload, you may be doing too much. Poor support and the culture is bad, right? This is a negative impulse, but they each turn each other's wheels. And this is how the balance sometimes does not work out. Because you work for a company, right? They're paying your salary. You need to meet requirements. And you might have an amazing boss and a lovely culture, but may not be that way, right? But it's very easy to get consumed with work because, like Razia mentioned as well, you want your boss to believe that you are dedicated so you can step up into other positions, be seen as a hard worker. So keep this in mind. I'm not saying everything is bad out there and you get taken in by work, right? Work becomes your passion, becomes who you are. But understand how these all play a part, and you will see it happening when you are being drawn into work more and more. All right. And then why I'm telling you this is then you need to realize, right, I need to balance myself again. Okay, organizational pressure. Contributory contributory. Oh my, when I come to this class, I can't read. Uh, Contributory factors: work overload, excessive demands, corporate culture, demanding deadlines, increased competition. These all have implications on your personal and social life. The culture of an organization, internal politics, lack of support, and competent management dismay. This can all lead to increased pressure, leading to work being taken home, lack of sleep, lack of personal time, all creating a vicious cycle. Have you guys ever worked at a company where the culture was not what you like? People weren't like you didn't want to be there. Have you had that experience? How were the cultures? Well, how is the culture where you work right now? Razia, have you how is the culture where you used to work? Have you guys been in a culture that you don't want to be in?
And I'm going to tell you this because you're not interviewing me, but I have trauma from my past work experience and like the company culture. It was very, each man for himself, but we were working in teams and there was just no like, I don't know, unity. It was just it was something else. I just don't even know how to explain it besides trauma.
And that's why you left, right?
Yes.
That's what it does to us. Like, we don't want to leave or we don't need to leave, but here we are not feeling that great. So we leave.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not, you expect things. You expect people to be nice and work as a team and be there for each other. And it's not actually how
Mm-hmm.
everyone works.
And they say in an interview, if they say we're like a family here, they say run, run. It's a red flag.
You actually, I don't know if it was in this module where they say, like, understand the culture. But you have no idea what the culture is until you work there. There's
Exactly.
no way of you understanding the culture from an interview. Because they're telling you what you want to hear if they want you.
Mm-hmm.
Obanolo, what's your experience for us?
I think I'm having the greatest experience.
Awesome.
The values, practices, everything is amazing, and I don't know, it's just my view. I feel like white people make a working environment so much easier for black people than black people having black people. Because where I used to work, it was black people, it was a mess. It's literally every man for themselves. But with this one, they just helping me literally throughout the way. So the culture, the value, practices, amazing.
Hmm. It's nice when you feel so good and positive. It feels like you found your space. And that's awesome. I'm very happy for you. So,
Thank you very,
yeah.
very much.
So it's nice to find that as well. And Razia, you are going to find that. Um, I've been
Yeah.
in both instances, and I've also left work. That's also why I left before I had my first baby. It wasn't planned to leave when I had the baby, but had the baby. Culture changed. I was like, what am I doing here? So I left. It's not nice because you always think about, you think about that work environment and why people behave in such ways. But it's just people, it's people's culture and how they've chosen to be at work. But yeah, we find better, we are happier, and I think it teaches you to be a bit stronger as well. Self inflicted pressure, internal drive to do more, inability to say no to extra work. Be careful. The fear of being negatively assessed if they do not take on extra work. We know this. Reluctance to take on more work may influence career progress. Individuals who are driven and actively try to take on more work as this is fulfilling to them. Perfectionist employers become obsessed with their work and continuously push harder. Different scenarios here, we understand how these people are feeling or situations you could possibly be in. Technologically related pressures played a substantial role in modern day work life imbalances. People are generally spending more time using devices, whether it is for personal or work related issues. Excessive time spent on these devices can impact your health as you neglect exercise. Having constant internet access, we may feel obligated to check work emails and do some work over weekends in the evenings. Need to compartmentalize work and home life to ensure that boundaries are set. Learn to not think about work. This is so hard. I don't have a balance. I overthink about work, I overthink about my kids. Like, there's no balance. The cost of work life imbalance. The impact of three major areas: individual, physical, and mental health. Family, spend less time with family and lose sense of connection. Social, missing out on important events, becoming socially detached, and eventually becoming detached. Work addiction can occur when these are neglected and excessive time is spent on work orientated activities. Sometimes you don't choose to be to overwork. Sometimes what you have to do is too much, so you are overworked. The work life balance versus work life integration. This concept implies that you must leave your personal family life behind when you are at work and vice versa. This term is heavily criticized and outdated. This breeds guilt when you are dedicating time to your personal family and social life. as you develop guilt about abandoning your non prioritizing work. Work life integration. This perspective takes into account technology advances and the person who's ambitious and places equal importance on the success of his or her work and personal lives and seeks to synthesize the different dimensions of life. Companies have begun to implement flexible hours and to allow employees to work remotely from their location of choice. This will promote work life integration. Monitoring of progress and performance is vital when implementing these practices and adopt strategies for increased communication and feedback. Those who make us those who make use of this will need a strong work ethic and ideally be internally motivated. So because of COVID, people now generally like things, if you work from home then and it worked, then why not do it now? But to even adapt to that during COVID, you needed to be internally motivated. You needed to uh, have a strong work ethic. You needed to be dedicated because it's very easy to say I'm working from home, but then all you're doing is like not work. You're watching TV and you're going to the mall or whatever the case is. All right. Please read pages 86 to 94. That's part of your reading. And then let me move over to the next slide. Do you guys want a 5-minute break or you good to continue?
Maybe a 5 minute.
Okay, perfect. So it's 1912 now. Let's come back at 1920. It's 7 minutes, 8 minutes, sorry.
Okay.
20 minutes, 20 past 7. Perfect. See you now.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Okay. Is Obanola back?
Yes, I am back.
Awesome. All right. So let's get going here. That here. So just to recap on chapter 2, right? We looked at knowing your personality. We looked at worldviews, knowing your values, your interests, your skills, personal and professional goals, managing your time, stress, priorities, managing your professional goals, and achieving a work-life balance integration. That's what we have covered so far, okay? In this lesson, we understand the role and importance of the various stages of team formation, understand the intricacies of team dynamics, and be able to observe different roles and responsibilities within the team. So we spoke about assignment just now, and we spoke about job shadow, so we're good. Sorry, the slide is so dim, and I'm going to try read it to the best I can. Interpersonal skills, it's pertaining to actions, events, and feelings between two or more individuals. Interpersonal, two or more. For example, interpersonal skill is an aptitude enabling a person to carry on effective interaction and relationships with others, such as the ability to communicate communicate thought and feeling, or to assume appropriate social responsibilities. So interpersonal is how you interact with other people, all right, and consider them. Knowing the team. Teamwork has shown to be more productive than fragmented, individualized work, depending on the organization and the type of work. Teamwork, work that involves a group of colleagues who cooperate quite closely and are interdependent in achieving collective work goals. We have a video. I haven't had a video in a long time. I'm going to share that screen with you guys.
Born in Africa, you're born rich.
The Oilers are a perfect 4-0.
One more item for you when you get a chance. We'd like it to stir up your cryo tanks.
How good can a team be? Seriously, how powerful is teamwork? Great teamwork. I mean, really ask that question. Who defines the limit? And what if we were to push that edge? Stop to think about this for a moment and realize that every team that accomplished the untouchable, every team that got out there, every team that had done what had never been done before, they all had to break through. They all had to understand that there was this edge. And then they had to challenge the edge. And then they had to break through that invisible line. They all had to do it.
Through that group of incredibly talented people bumping up against each other, having arguments, having fights sometimes, making some noise, and working together, they polish each other. And they polish the ideas, and what comes out are these really beautiful stones.
There's no other way to get through other than challenging your fears. Because in order for teamwork to be at its highest potential, everyone's got to have something on the line. You have to. Otherwise, you're only partway in. At the end of the day, you're going to need to trust those around you. To fully trust. This is about us. And you can count on me. I think about New Zealand, this country with under 5 million people. And they have the best rugby team in the world, the All Blacks. Consistently the best in the world. Or the Apollo mission, a group of people saying, we hear you, we've got you. And all of our talents are on the line to get you home. That's teamwork. Think about the Beatles. All of that music that we know of theirs, all of it, was made in about 8 years. Just 8 years. They were that incredible as a team. Great teams, I mean, they're not about individuals melting into the team. That's the mistake. People hear about the power of teamwork, and they think it's about losing yourself to the singular goal. They think it's about fully giving in to something bigger than you. You don't lose yourself. Great teammates, they don't lose themselves. They stand up. They say, I'm here. They choose to be in, and they choose to play their unique part. That's how it works. So then what's the breakthrough? What did those teams see to unlock the full power of teamwork? You know, that's the hard part. You can't see the edge. You actually don't know where it is until you cross over and look back and see where it was. That's why it's always easier. I mean, it's always easier to catch up than it is to raise the bar. Because the team that broke through, they marked the line. And now everyone else, they just need to get over that mark. The Patriots, Belichick, Brady, I mean, what they've been doing is so unbelievable because they keep raising the bar. They keep nudging it higher. So even if people catch up, it's too late. You know, Steve Jobs and Apple.
For the first time ever, I'd like to let Macintosh speak for itself.
They were operating in this abyss. I mean, they were out there in this vast unknown. So instead of breaking through, instead of seeing the line, you have to forget the line. It's just another limit. The marker in great teams is never external. Because you're out in this unknown. You're out in this unmapped territory. So instead, the power of teamwork comes from a belief. It comes from a mindset. We can't get satisfied by the breakthroughs. We can celebrate them. We should celebrate them, but we can't be satisfied by the limits. That's what humbles me the most about great teams. That's what humbles me the most about the power of teamwork. Because it's almost like you've got to operate in the darkness, knowing you're lighting the path for everyone else, and still heading out there, still pushing that edge. That's how to unlock the power of teamwork.
To copy at the point. And on the board, take There's the presentation to Wayne Gretzky, the young Edmonton captain.
Okay. A very powerful video that could motivate you to work within a team and the abilities that you can achieve. Very interesting. Any comments?
No comments.
Awesome. Let's move on. Understanding team formation, right? Teams move through various stages of formation when completing a task, assignment, or project together. They go through forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning, right? And to take you through those meanings, forming is the first stage, right? Page 88. During this phase, members are usually engaged in orientating themselves towards the team goals, right? Storming, as team members become more familiar with one another, they also become more honest about their opinion. Guys, just give me 1 second. My daughter is next to me awake as I started speaking. Just give me 1 minute. Sorry about that. She was supposed to be sleeping, but when I was quiet for a while and then started talking, I think I woke her up. I apologize for that. So, forming is getting familiar with the team, right? And understanding the goal. Storming, as team members become more familiar with one another, they also become more honest about their opinions. This signals the next stage of team development, namely storming. In this stage, the team's power structure becomes important to members and they will work to establish their place within it. So, this is when people start showing who they truly are, and then there might be a little bit of disagreement, right? Because you all need to play your part now. Norming, the norming stage, which follows storming, is characterized by a combined attempt by members to develop a sense of unity. Then they decide, okay, you like that, and that's your personality, and that's who you are. And they decide this is how we're going to work together. Okay, so they put their differences aside and they work together, which is norming. Performing, the fourth stage of team development is performing. This stage is characterized by a sense of congruence and so similarity and harmony. Members also demonstrate greater productivity in that they work collectively to solve a problem. So then they start with the actual work, right? They get down to doing what is needed to be done. Adjourning, when the team recognizes that it has reached its goal, and during this stage, the team will celebrate the accomplishment. All right, and that is the stages. Questions? No good.
No.
Stages in team formation. So sorry, I went through it, but it's in the notes. The writing is very light here again. This model is optimal for teams smaller than 12 people. The ideal number of being 10 to 12 team members, and larger teams present the issue of cliches that will comprise the application of this model and thus make it inappropriate. Understanding team dynamics. Team dynamics is the behavioral relationship between the members of the group that are assigned connected tasks within a company. These dynamics have a direct influence on aspects such as productivity, employee turnover, retention, job satisfaction, and company profits. Factors that can influence team dynamics is social interaction. So, group influence is noted when members dominate, befriend, or compete with one another. Formal contact, socializing occurs during meetings and work events. Informal interaction occurs during social and outside of work functions. Status. Hierarchies arise within teams. Social statuses are assigned with regards to characteristics that define the role occupied. Formal status, awarded due to status position within the company. Informal status based on your age, sex, race, education may not necessarily hold a formal title. So people are given status due to their position in the company or based on your age. So sometimes because you're older, um, depending on the industry, if you're male or female, um, then people take you more seriously. Workplace norms. Set out goals and objectives that all members agree upon during meetings. Norms are formalized by being clearly stated and can usually be found in workplace policy. There are some drawback to conforming to norms, such as a loss of individuality and subpar performance. But the positives include predictability, reliability, and can contribute to team performance. So there are norms. It takes away from being an individual and being spontaneous, but this is how companies function. A standard or pattern, especially of social behavior that is typical or expected. Situational factors. Group size and structure can directly impact group performance and productivity. Larger groups provide a large sample of skills, abilities, and knowledge, but increase the likelihood of conflict. Smaller groups of 2 to 10 members tend to perform better and present less conflict due to all having the chance to contribute. So this is looking at This is looking at smaller, I mean, you can all understand, even from studying or working or trying to plan something, if you're talking to too many people to get something happening, it becomes more difficult. The smaller the group, the more effective communication is and tasks being done. Structural factors, geographical distance between members can influence the group. The cultural differences of the group can also influence the group, as the different cultures of the group can impact the conformity to group norms. So, yeah, within a group, sometimes culture becomes an issue, or people just don't worry about those things. But you will see in a workplace, you are then put in groups with different beliefs, different types of people, ages, gender, and you have to work together. You have to put those things aside and concentrate on what the goal is. Roles and responsibilities. Members are expected to delegate and assign work to members, allowing them to assume to different role and responsibilities within the group. Roles, a set of expected behavior patterns attributed to someone occupying a given position in the group. The role of each member will influence their responsibilities. The member in the leadership role is expected to lead the group on decisions and actions towards their common shared goal. So, if you think about group assignments as well at university or school, there was always one person or two people that wanted to be the leader, that automatically took that role. And then everyone kind of finds themselves within different roles and depending on their abilities and strengths. Consider the following aspects related to roles when assigning or choosing a role. The role identity. Identity identify, sorry, no, role identity. Um, where one assumes when performing, fulfilling a certain role within a group. So identify what you would be pursuing. Role identity can change as the member's role within the group may change. The behaviors and attitudes displayed are consistent with the role that the member fulfills. Role perception. How individuals view their own behavior within a role. Media, books, friends, TV can influence this perception. Role expectations. The role of the individual can be influenced expectations and perceptions that others have or hold of the role that the member is filling. This can be influenced by society or family. So, you as a specific role in a team, people might have expectations of you because of their own experiences. Role conflict, individual experiences conflicting expectations or role responsibilities. This occurs when one role fulfilled is contradictory to the other role that the same individual must perform, or when the single role that is filled is made up of contradictory responsibilities. Role ambiguity, inconsistency between the perceived and the actual role. Are you guys still with me? Can I get a thumbs up, smiley face? Are you all okay? Questions, comments? Awesome. We're just covering content now. Awesome. Cohesion, this includes the team's sense of unity, right? Something that Raj's previous company probably didn't have. They didn't have the right culture of being cohesive. Team members hope to remain part of the team, their feelings towards one another, and the strength for their bond. Although cohesiveness presents any positive points, it can also lead to negative ones, such as groupthink. Groupthink occurs when teams suppress views that may differ from their own in order to preserve group harmony. This can negatively impact a group as it can encourage careless decisions. So when you want unity and you keep quiet and everyone keeps quiet, but then they lose interest and passion for the project or the goal. So everyone is like, they're just saying yes and agreeing, but no one's really passionate then. So you can understand if you're passionate about something, you will stand for what is right. You'll point out what needs to be done. Sense of group belonging, expected that group members identify and view themselves to be part of the group. Common attributes of an organization can contribute to the extent that members feel a sense of belonging. The more similar individuals are, the more their sense of belonging. Greater diversity in groups can lead to greater heterogeneity or opinions within the group, but has also shown to produce a higher member turnover than groups who are more similar to one another. 3 types of team behavior resulting from a lowered sense of group belonging. Social loafing, tendency to work less and put less effort. Free rider effect, tendency for a member to reduce their effort, thinking that their effort will add little or no value. Sucker effect, the effort or contribution is low due to the perception that other members have effort has been lowered, often concerned that they will be left to complete all the work. I'm sure you guys can familiarize yourself with these things from school, university, and work experience. To avoid these behaviors, managers and leaders need to ensure that the group focus on team morale and work together. They ensure that individual effort and contributions are recognized and highlighted. So leaders need to identify what is happening and allow a team to work together. All right. So that's the end of this. Please have a look at from pages 95 to 97 and the previous page numbers I indicated. Please work on your elevator pitches and your assignments. I'm going to see you guys online next week, Tuesday, for the last time before the assignment is due. Remember, we see each other next week online, and then the following week is no class. It's a break week, it's assignment week. Do you guys have any questions for me? Comments? Concerns?
None from my side, but I always email you, so I'll email you if anything comes up.
No problem. I don't mind emails or questions or anything, guys. Just touch base with me whenever if you want to just find out if something's okay. Oh, Banola, sorry.
I'm also good on my side, thank you.
Awesome. Okay, guys, well, have a great week, and I'll see you on Tuesday evening next week. Yeah, and yeah, I will work on your assignments, please.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.